Polo G is a very popular rapper from Chicago who has been able to make a huge spotlight for himself in the past few years, all at the age of just 22. The rapper tells a lot of the rough stories about his past through his music, and it is honestly through the disturbing and real storytelling that has allowed Polo G to create the loving fanbase he has today. Now, although there is some very deep stuff Polo G has been through in his life, it is his positive message he promotes that every obstacle in life can be overcome with consistency that has earned him even more respect as a rapper, especially coming from a tough come up from the hood. However, despite the good message, the rapper has quite a deep reputation in the community, and due to this reputation with gang life, drugs, and violence, as well as a near-death experience recently in 2019, rappers have known to avoid Polo G, and in general be very scared of him. In this video, we will be discussing the criminal past of Polo G and exploring why rappers are so scared of him and for their own sake would not be wanting to start any kind of beef with him. Be sure to stick around till the end of the video. There are some disturbing things about Polo G's past you are probably going to want to hear. But before we get into the video, please take 2 seconds and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a like letting us know any of your thoughts. These small interactions help so much with getting the video into the YouTube algorithm, and we are a new, small, upcoming rap channel, so could use any little bit of help we could get. We appreciate your help so much. Anyway, let's get into it. So before we get into the scary reality of Polo G that not many people know about, let's get a quick background of who he is. Taurus Tremonti Bartlett, better known as Polo G, is an extremely popular rapper from Chicago, Illinois. He was born on January 6, 1999 and blew up in 2018 after dropping his single Gang With Me on World Star Hip Hop in August, which instantly blew Polo into the spotlight, and followed shortly after with a song he wrote just 2 months before in jail called Finer Things, which dropped later that month and was an even bigger hit, with almost 150 million YouTube plays at the time of this recording. Polo G would continue dropping hit after hit from here and came out just a few months later in his collaborative song with Lil TJ, Pop Out, which would absolutely skyrocket him into fame and would become his biggest song to date, currently with over 564 million Spotify plays alone. Anyway, let's get into a bit of Polo G's dark past and why rappers are so scared of him now. You're going to want to stick around to hear this. So, although the rapper is an absolute sensation right now, this wouldn't come easy, and Polo G had a pretty difficult upbringing. His mom had a plan to make sure that he would stay in school and get a proper education. However, because of the area he was brought up in, the Marshall Field Garden Apartments, this would be a very tough commitment for Polo G. The Marshall Field Garden Apartments are notorious for gang and drug activity, and Polo G would soon see himself getting involved with this community. This all started at the age of 15 after he lost his best friend Gucci, who was 16 at the time, who died to a shooting. This is actually where the G in Polo G's name came from. As stated in a tweet, "The G in my name stand for Gucci, for my homie who passed away today. His birthday, he ain't get to see 18. You know, I'm a spaz every time for you though. Happy 22nd. And later talked about this in an interview with the YouTuber, saying that the event really messed up his understanding of the world. After putting things into perspective and witnessing how easily a life can be taken away, from here, Polo G said that he suffered from depression and anxiety for most of his teenage life, and as a result, turned to music as it became a form of therapy for him to cope, and began rapping at the age of just 9. He also has said that his music inspiration has come from rappers such as Gucci Mane, Tupac, Lil Wayne, and more local Chicago rappers such as G Herbo, as well as the notorious Chief Keef. So this is when things start to get pretty intense for Polo G, and where he started becoming the very feared rapper he is today. From here, Polo G ended up getting kicked out of 2 different schools and was known for fighting. Shortly after is when Polo G's friend Gucci passed away, and it was from here that inspired him to begin creating music and earning himself a fan base, but also would find himself more involved in the streets of Chicago, and more specifically the 1300 block which he grew up in. Polo didn't have a job at the time and began selling drugs and getting involved in crime in order to fund the studio time to build his dream of becoming a rapper. It was on January 1st, 2018 that Polo G got involved in a car theft and a high-speed chase avoiding police. Him and his friends were driving the stolen car and attempted to speed away from the police, before eventually crashing the car and getting caught. He was locked up for just a few weeks, and when released, immediately dropped a new track called Welcome Back to YouTube. At the time, he also began abusing drugs such as Xanax and ecstasy, and said that drugs were a part of his daily life function, and that the only thing keeping him motivated in life was the music. In August of 2019, Polo was sent to emergency care in a hospital after overdosing off 17 pills. He said and posted to Instagram, "I got a little too lit last night and woke up in an emergency room, almost lost my life. My pops made sure I was straight and back on my square on Gucci. I don't take that for granted. Love that man to death." After almost losing his life, this was a big wake-up call for Polo. So he decided to quit drugs cold turkey and said in an interview that it was the birth of his son that made him realize that he couldn't go on living like this, and it was time to make a change so that he could be a role model for his son.
So that just made me think, like, knowing that I got my son, that I gotta slow down off that. And that made me quit X and Xanax altogether.
So Polo G stuck to his word and kept off the drugs and out of trouble for the next year, went hard with his music. He dropped many platinum and gold singles, including Go Stupid, Pop Out, as well as his album The Go, which became the second platinum album after 2019's Die a Legend. After such a successful year, Polo G earned his spot on the 2020 XXL Freshman list. A title anyone knows is a huge moment for any up-and-coming rapper, and it was a snippet of his song now known as Rap Star that finished the year off so strong for Polo G. The snippet came out featuring him and well-known rapper collaborator Einer Banks performing the song, which quickly went viral on TikTok and brought Polo G a ton of attention. The track later dropped on Polo's album Hall of Fame and is now one of the biggest songs to date, with platinum certification and over 400 million plays on Spotify alone. But here's where the rapper ran some deep trouble with the law. So Polo G was killing the game, but it was on June 12th, 2021 when his run of staying out of trouble would come to an end. On this day, he was pulled over after returning home from the release party for his album Hall of Fame in Miami for reportedly having very dark tinted windows. After being pulled over, authorities directed the driver to put the windows down. However, he initially refused, saying that the windows were bulletproof and were there for his own protection and were cautious based off known police brutality. Eventually, the passengers cooperated. However, Polo G did not, which led to police trying to drag the rapper out of the car, to which he responded physically, allegedly throwing punches, and he ended up in a struggle on the ground, with police officer Brandon Carrero. Witness police officers said that during the incident, Polo stated, "I will kill you. I swear I will use these fists to beat the shit out of you and knock your ass out." Fortunately, the rapper did not get any jail time for the incident, instead a $15,000 bond set, which was paid by his mom. Polo took to Twitter just a day after the incident to share his thoughts, stating that one of the officers told us that they was on us since we got off our jet, that the police were purely out there to cause trouble. Now, Polo G has been fortunate enough to not catch himself any serious cases, but there's a reason he's a man to be feared. He grew up on a 1300 block in Chicago and is a gang member of the 1300 Tim Tim gang from his block. He's been tied in with the streets ever since he was a kid, and despite his fame, it is still very public that he is still about the gang life, tweeting, "But anyway, GDK back in 2020. GDK meaning Gangster Disciple Killer, and Gangster Disciples being the ops of Polo G's gang." He also raps in his 2019 song Battle Cry, "I know these people never been 100. They let that fame switch them. Did all the preaching, about to be sold, then you change. I'm from the 1300 block. I'm still the same person. They know how I bleed, swear this shit up in my veins. I looked my brother in his eyes, I see the pain in him. Boy, I won't play. I'll go to war about my gang members. I was in the trenches sliding with them grave diggers. Chopper showers, he gonna fall once the rain hit him." So in conclusion, Polo G had a pretty tough upbringing, constantly being around drugs and violence, losing several friends to shootings, and getting involved in gang life. It is his openness about all this that shows how tough of a dude he is today. And despite all these tough obstacles, he was still able to chase his dreams, and is definitely no man to mess around with, and he is very serious about his business and who he is as a man and a rapper. And that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please take just 2 seconds to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel. Any of these things really help with getting the video into the YouTube algorithm and go a long way to growing our channel. Thanks guys. Anyway, in the meantime, well done for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, why not check out another? You should see a few good ones on the screen now. Maybe you'll learn something new. I'll leave the choice up to you anyway. See you next time.